Hi, my name is Eliot Horowitz. I'm the CEO and founder of Viam, formerly the CTO and founder of MongoDB. Viam is a software platform that makes it easy to work with hardware and software at the edge that can use the cloud for deploying software, managing software, and making devices that work really well in the real world. When I left MongoDB, I really wanted to make hardware easier for software engineers to work with and let hardware developers go much faster. So rather than talking about what VM is, the best way to show it off is just to give you some demos. So the first one I want to show you is very personal and it is about how I feed my cat. So I do have a cat that I'm very fond of, and my cat likes to eat. So about 2 years ago, I bought this cat food feeder. And this cat food feeder is pretty good with a few key problems. One is programming it requires pressing these buttons. Two is that sometimes it loses track of time, which is frustrating, and then it wakes me up in the middle of the night. And three is that if I go on vacation and take my cat, then I come back to a floor filled up with food. So what me and my 11-year-old son did at the time was rip out all the electronics, replace it with a Raspberry Pi, a $5 motor controller, and a $5 webcam. We went then and configured it with VM using this screen here that you're seeing now. And then what I can do is actually click the control tab and see in real time what's going on. I can click on this camera and see a real-time view of my cat's food dish. I can then go and press this run button, which is going to run the motor and feed my cat. If we're lucky, the cat will come by. Then what I can do is take data from this camera, right? So take periodic pictures from this camera that you'll see right over here. I'll switch to the tab that's showing sort of a bunch of pictures I've taken. Then I could take these pictures and turn it into a data set. So I'll go to the dataset tab and click on this data set that I have made before. And these are pictures that I have labeled. So this picture is labeled with full. That means it's full of food. This one is empty, so on and so forth. I can then train the model by hitting this button. Now I'm going to go back over to the other tab for a second. Cat's not there. And this is where I would configure it. This is where I would deploy new models of code and so on and so forth. And then, of course, I don't want to, again, feed my cat manually. So the way this all works out in the end is I have this little Python script that I can, again, deploy with VM that all it does is runs a classification from the camera. And then if the bowl is empty, feeds the cat. And the way it feeds the cat, and coming up here to this function, is turns the motor on for at half power, sleeps for 30 seconds, turns it off. The cool thing about this is that, in this very simple application, I have configured a motor, configured a webcam, made all of those things work. I can access any of them remotely, debug them remotely, collect data from this, get that data to the cloud, build a data set, train a model, deploy a model, write software, all very easily in one platform, having a very easy time doing it. So that's one demo. And then this is, again, nice because I'm starting from scratch. What about something where I don't start from scratch? So we do a lot of work with marine customers. So this is a marine demo that we have. And in this example, we are connecting to an existing network on the boat, right? Boats run off of an NMEA network, which is based on the CAN bus protocol. So we work with a lot of CAN networks as well. And you'll see here a bunch of things. One is you'll see a location of a boat on a map. So we're getting the real-time location from this existing network. We see all the other boats around it from the AIS data that's coming off that same network. We see all the other sorts of basic telemetry coming from that network, the depth, the water temperature, so on and so forth. We also are seeing all of the tanks on the boat, the freshwater tank, fuel tanks, etc. And not only are we seeing the real current values of those tanks, we're also seeing the historical data. One of the great things about VM is that we make it really easy with one API to get historical data and real-time data. Now, on the back end, we have a different systems for this, but from a developer standpoint, you don't have to worry about it, right? All the data is synced to the cloud. From your API, you can either connect directly to the device using peer-to-peer or go to the cloud for historical data. We also have real-time camera feeds over here. So we've got a camera in the back of the boat. We've got cameras that are forward-facing that are doing obstacle detection. We've got a thermal camera. So just to show that one off a little bit bigger, I'm just going to come over to this tab and then back to our admin developer view. And you can see the forward-facing camera and any obstacles that it is finding right now. This is just a simple model that we found on the internet. So this is again pretty nice because I can take an existing system, build a module in VM, right? Everything in VM is very pluggable, very adaptable. You don't have to rebuild everything in VM. We didn't rebuild the entire boat on VM. We're just using the existing hardware and everything as is to make that work. So these are obviously both sort of simple demos with a single device. One of our clients called Canyon Runner, they are also in the marine space. And what they do is they've got software that's running on all of their clients' boats. So they are a virtual captain service. So they help their customers who are boat owners manage their boats, find better places to fish, help them avoid weather, help them in storms to get around safely, all sorts of things about managing boats and fishing. So these are all of their clients who have this device installed. And you can see where everyone has gone today. We can see, what people have been doing. We can see the sea temperature where they were, how fast they were going, all of this data. They can go look at AIS data that is shared across their entire fleet. We can go back and look at data at any point in time. And this is their client app that their clients can use or their admins can use. And what's great about this is now they have one UI where they can see all of their customer data. They can go back to our admin view to debug any individual problem on an individual boat. They can deploy software to the entire fleet through our system, so they don't have to worry about which boat is updated. They can see what version of software is running on any boat, have connectivity to it, deploy it, do whatever they need to do, get data, build models, deploy models, all very easily. Those are the three different use cases that work pretty well with Viam. A Viam is incredibly adaptable to any sort of hardware and software problem. So we're really excited to partner with you and make things go faster.